500 naira. That middleman will sell at 500 naira to who will transport them to abroad. The person who has not having anything to do with that cocoa than being a middleman will have a profit of 300 naira. When my father who grew it from the beginning to harvesting will have 200 naira. Is that not cheating? So to have overcome such, answer was established. And within a period of time, they achieved their purpose. So farmers were sending their produce abroad without intervention of middlemen. Okay, even as at that time.
I'd like you to pause there so that we don't, we can also answer some of the other questions that we
All
have.
right.
Apart from the exportation of cocoa and the likes that we're talking about, you talked about the establishment of, Provost, you talked about the establishment of the cooperative
bank.
Yeah, college.
Yes.
College.
You said in 1943.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, that's how many decades ago? If we have that in place since 1943, one would have expected that we can begin to count some achievements that, cooperative has helped us to build in Nigeria. So tell us, what are some of the, Provost, tell us what are some of the landmark achievements that we can say that cooperative has helped us to achieve as a nation?
Yes, we have actually achieved a lot over years.
Okay.
But there are certain fundamental problems.
Let's talk about the achievement.
Yes. Okay, if we talk about, even up till today, we still have quite a number of cooperative societies that also come into cooperative unions, and we have cooperative federation at the state level. And at the apex level, of course, we have the Cooperative Federation of Nigeria. But, up till now, cooperative societies still keep growing. In fact, there was a time I watched one on the television recently. They had their annual general meeting at the Liberty Stadium. If you see the crowd at that, and when I made my findings concerning that cooperative society, I was told that that society has over 1,000 units of cooperative groups. So you can see
the interest-free.
And it's interest-free. So you can imagine it is still, there are quite, because of this, so many benefits that is attached to it, because obtaining fund from banks these days, we all know the implication. But there are some cooperative societies now that are even coming up with an interest-free arrangement, single-digit rate in most cases. So it's quite a lot of achievement, and that is why you see most of the small-scale businesses, they want into most of this cooperative to sustain their businesses. And these are the people that actually constitute the bulk of the economy, that drives the economy of the country. So it is still a lot of achievement, but challenges that still surround some of them are still there. But I think the cooperative movement, the cooperative group is still moving forward.
Okay, let's quickly look at how many, let's look at in total. In Nigeria, for instance, or your state, if you have the data, how many cooperative societies do we have?
As of today,
and tell us, how are they faring?
As of today, we have total of 27,196 cooperative organizations in Oyo State alone. Registered.
Existing.
I'm coming. We have 27,196 registered cooperative societies in Oyo State.
27,000
registered cooperative since the beginning of the registration. But as at today, because due to one problem or the other, some are moribund, some are crawling, some are growing. That is life anyway. In any institution, we cannot avoid not to have things of such nature. But as at today in Oyo State, we have more than 14,000 cooperative organizations that are still growing and thriving, that are contributing to the economic development of Oyo State and of Nigeria at large.
Okay, let me quickly go back to Provost. Provost, let's look at the challenges.
Okay.
And majorly corruption.
Okay.
Because if you tell me that we had 27,196 registered as of the time, the cooperative system, commenced registered, and today we are talking about 14,000. You're telling me that more than half are no longer functional. And trust me, corruption will be one of the reasons why those more than half are dead. So tell us, what are the challenges?
Yes, thank you very much. I think one major challenge is what you have just mentioned. And now when we say corruption, where do we trace this corruption to? Director mentioned something earlier, that cooperative society are more of democratic. It is not owned by one person. But today what we have is most of the executives becomes demigods. In fact, some are into this position in perpetuity for quite a number of years. They turn themselves to demigods. And so that has been a major challenge, such that most of these cooperative groups does not actually follow the regulations that guides them. There is no punishment. There is no established way of actually punishing most of these people that are culpable in these corruption activities that we are talking about. And that is the need. That is exactly what is the new trend now that is driven by the Ministry of Agri that I just mentioned, because one of it is a review of the legislation, a review of act that guides cooperative society. Is one of a major, apart from driving capital base for cooperative society, because we have discovered over years. In fact, I must tell you, I had to opt out, in all sincerity, from one cooperative society due to the hanky-panky.
Despite being in the system?
Yes. When you belong to a group, of course we allow it to run. It's a democratic sector, and you allow it to run the way it has to be run. But when you now when you are now seeing things that is actually not in consonant with the laid down rules and regulations, and you do not, despite all effort, although it is just at the community level, one has to just,
Trust me,
yes.
If you opted out because of this particular scenario,
yes,
I'm afraid in the next 10 years, we might not have cooperative system anymore.
Get it.
I'm coming, sir.
Okay.
You opted out because of some form of corruption, corruption that you're seeing, hanky-panky.
Yes, yes.
And if so, you that are in the ends of affairs of regulating, discover this kind of abnormalities, and I'm sure you would have made effort to correct the abnormalities.
Yes.
And I would have even thought that whoever was going to carry out that corrupt practice should naturally be afraid that at least we have somebody like in the system, with us. And if the person had the effrontery to go that far, it tells you the level of corruption that we have in the society.
Yes.
And if we're not careful, in the next 10 years, we will hardly, your state or even across the globe, across the country, have existing cooperatives functional.
Yes. Actually, the case I'm referring to is not in the recent time.
It doesn't matter.
Yes. You see, but opting out of one does not mean that there are no others.
No, how many are we going to be creating and opting out of one?
Yes.
I'm beginning to look at it from the point where both the college and your state ministry of cooperative need to synergize and find a way to ensure that the ones existing are strong. If we don't strengthen our institutions, no matter how small they are, we'll continue to create more. And the old ones will be going into extinctions. Why do we still have banks existing for decades? Why do we have organization? Since it's an executive thing, you transfer leadership. There should be rules that are working. So let me quickly come to Mr. Mr. Olawale, sorry.
Yeah.
Why is cooperative not working as expected?
Cooperative is working as expected. It is a wrong impression to say that cooperative is not working as it is expected. Because if you have problem, we are bound to have problems. We are bound to have issues. The only thing for us is to just look at the issues, correct the issues, and continue going. When I said 27,000, I mean from inception.
Yes.
From inception, Oyo State of Nigeria is one. That Oyo State have now been divided into states now. So that 27,000 is inclusive of those who registered then that have gone to Osun State, Ogun State, and the likes. So when I said 14,000 is existing in Oyo State, I mean those that are in Oyo State. So of now, not that others have died or moribund, they have been transferred to another state because they were registered when we were in Western Nigeria. So let's correct that impression first.
Okay.
Number two is that one of the major problems that is causing problem for us is the legislation. It talks about sit-tight syndrome. And that legislation, the federal has been working on it, which all other states will now emulate. For example, there's no law that says that if I become the president of cooperative today, I should go tomorrow. In as much as members are voting me in as a president, I can continue there for 10 years, for 20 years, even till. So that legislation is what we are working on as of today. So the fraud of a thing, the corruption of a thing is part of us. So there is going to be legislation or laws or regulations that will guide us such. So we have been compiling all those.
Director.
All right, sir.
Please. I think that we are not looking at something that might affect that. We want a system to thrive. We want the implementation, the right execution of the legislation. But then, the hub of a cooperative society is that person-to-person linkage. And I think therein lies the problem, because it looks a lot more informal, a lot more unofficial for the people. And that is why a lot of people are encouraged to go into those societies. And it's a lot more difficult to handle that when you have an official template, and then the mode of dynamics in the society is more unofficial, is more personal. And that takes me to thinking about how much of an influence personal trust comes in these societies. I think it's an area, a challenge that we need to address if we come up with this legislation. Because I might feel, if I'm in a society, I might feel because this person is doing this, which is not a part of the cooperative society business, I have an ill feeling towards this person. For example, there are 4 of us here, and if I feel like I do not exactly like some of the things that he does outside of the cooperative, I might start to do some bits that might affect the dynamism of the cooperative society. So please, Provost.
Yes, let me correct an impression there. You see, the organization of cooperative is not really an informal aspect from the angle you are looking at it. In Kenya, government play a very strategic role, and that is the role of enforcement. Most of these legislations that we are talking about, even as at the time we were there were some before the National Assembly in favor of the cooperative societies. So government also need to play a major role, because most of the things that happens within the cooperative society is the issue of enforcement. Those that even sit tight is because laws are not enforced. So it is a more of a synergy. There must be a synergy between the formal and the informal. So government too has a role of that enabling environment for cooperative to thrive. So if we are talking about being informal, yes, it is more of informal because We want to allow people to come together. We want them to, share common idea and so on. In fact, there's free exit, free entry. The one I mentioned the other time that I have to exit, I'm still a member of another as we speak. In fact, I'm a patron of one of the cooperative society as we speak. But government needs to play a major, and that is currently ongoing under the new Hope agenda of cooperative reform and the revamp program that is currently ongoing to actually strengthen legislation, enforcement of these laws. If you are there, if you are to be there as an executive for 2 years, you have another 2 years term. Don't go beyond this term that you have to be there. Since it is democratic, allow others to also come. Others may have a better idea than you do. Right. So that is the situation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, Director, aside these challenges that we have mentioned, the corruption, the base of the informal personal trust and all that, what other challenges do you see over the years affecting all the cooperative societies?
And one major challenge that is facing cooperative is recalcitrant in repayment of loans. Many of the loanees at times, because of the problem that we have talked about, because there was a time we went to the House of Assembly for your state. We were having a discussion on this issue of recalcitrancy in the repayment of loan. If I obtain a loan of 100,000, I'm supposed to be paying installments within a certain period of time. But if I do not pay after the due date, the only punishment that is for me is penal interest. That is, you pay more than the interest that you're supposed to pay. What of the societies that are interest-free? So when we got there to the House of Assembly, we were discussing this issue. We were thinking of making such issues criminal offense, because in civil matters, there is a limit to how you can go. But if we criminalize this recalcitrancy, it may bring about some relief to cooperatives, because that is the major issue that is affecting many of our cooperative organizations in Oyo State and in Nigeria. And we are trying as much as possible to ensure that we have a way forward on this.
Okay, let's quickly look at some other areas. Provost, you talked about the federal government making moves to do a reform.
Yeah.
We'd like to know about that reform, and I'll tell you why. It has been observed that a lot of times, most of the benefits that should go to citizens in Nigeria, the bulk of it stays in the north. Many don't come down southwest. Where it's not because the federal government is not making it come down, but they tend to get the information first, utilize it. I've gone for trainings on several things that when you get there, you hardly find people in the south. In fact, sometimes I'm the only person there. And you wonder, are there no people in the southwest? You get there, if there are 50 participants, you have like 40 from the north, and maybe 5 from the, what am I saying, 5? You have one, maybe I'm the only person or 2 of us from the southwest, and the east takes the remaining. What is wrong? Why is this imbalance? So this reform you're talking about, I'm hearing for the first time.
Okay.
So why is it not known? So tell us about this reform.
Well, the reform is well known.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when the minister started, there are 3 cooperative colleges, federal cooperative colleges in Nigeria. In the southwest here, Federal Cooperative College Ibadan. In the north, we have one in Kaduna, and then Federal Cooperative College in Nigeria. When the minister started this advocacy, in fact, he toured all the 3 federal cooperatives. And the time we had the one in the Southwest, it was hosted by my college. Every state were represented there. Now, you see, the issue of cooperative is not, especially this current drive, it's not about government. Let us get that impression very clear. It has to do with people. In fact, the 200 billion capitalization of the cooperative bank that we are talking about will be from the cooperative society themselves. It's not something that we are expecting that government will now put certain level of fund in one part of the country. No, we want to mobilize this fund to it to be owned by the cooperative societies themselves. So it's not a matter of government will only play, create that enabling environment, play a supervisory role. In terms of the bank and so many other things that will be become beneficial under the present reform that we are talking about is not going to be government driven. That is the template that is on ground for now. So, you see, you will also know that the issue of cooperative, especially as we are talking about it now, actually started from the Southwest here. Southwest, even before now, used to be the hub of cooperative society. So this one that we are talking about, even the ministerial advocacy drive, the flag off was done in Lagos State. I was there together with the minister. It was done in Lagos State here. Because they recognized the fact that Southwest is the hub of cooperative societies. And that is the more reason why it has to start here. Almost all states in the Southwest were represented in that advocacy talk.
Okay, let's quickly know what are the procedures of running a cooperative society. Let me go to you.
Thank you very much. If you want to run a cooperative society, because it starts from individual, at least some groups of people who have that idea. So they will come together. Minimum of 10 individuals can start a cooperative organization or a cooperative society. Minimum of 10. These 10 people, they come together because they are like minds. They must have within themselves their resolution. What do I mean by resolution? What will be guiding them within themselves that will not contradict the existing law or regulations or bylaw of the type of cooperative they want to form, because we have different types of cooperative that are existing. So when they are 10, the first thing they will do, they will think of their resolution. That is when they are together. They will have their first meeting at least. At that first meeting that they come together, they will have their resolution. And the resolution will comprise of all those things that will guide their activities. How much will they be paying? As shares, as savings, as development levy, as this, as investment fund, as that. They will decide it by themselves. And this one will depend, one, on their capacity, two, on their objective and motives. Because the objective of farmers cooperative might be different from the objective of consumer cooperative. So they will, from that objective, form their resolution. Then they will elect within themselves the officers who will be running the affairs of that society. So they will be, and those officers will include the president, the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, and committee members. So as they are moving, they can be meeting monthly, weekly, or fortnightly. So that is how to, so as they grow, they must be meeting at least once in a year, called annual general meeting, where they will do the account of stewardship will be presented to members. They will elect new officers. If the officers that they elected last year or at the inception are those that they want to retain, they must re-elect such persons. So they will read the account and determine how surplus will be made, and then listen to the directors of cooperatives comment on their performance.
All right, thank you very much for that breakdown, sir.
Yes.
Now, the theme for the 2026 International Day of Cooperatives is Cooperatives for a Peaceful World. And we have this theme highlighting how cooperative enterprises foster social justice, economic inclusion, and democratic participation to build resilient, peaceful communities globally. And this slogan was officially announced by the International Cooperative Alliance, ICA, and championed by the United Nations, emphasizing the role of cooperatives as bridge builders that connect communities and reduce inequalities. Now, the keyword for me here, first and foremost, reducing inequalities and connecting communities. That is one of the purposes of the cooperative society. Is it still serving that purpose effectively?
Yes, it's still serving the purpose because one major reason, one major advantage of cooperative is what we call shared prosperity. When they put resources together, members are able to benefit from that fund. So, and that is a way by which we can even drive economic development. The peace that you mentioned in the theme for this year, of course, if we must have peace, one of it is for us to have food prosperity as well. If we must be food secured in the country today, one way to go is cooperative. If we need to create job, one way to go, the way to go is cooperative. If we are to create economic prosperity for everyone in the country today, the way to go is cooperative. And honestly, it is just, we have seen it. Kenya came to learn about cooperative in Nigeria. In fact, when we got there, they were so surprised that, from Nigeria, we are from Nigeria, we are from Nigeria. We have to go back to learn cooperative from Kenya. It's thriving there. You can see it, you can feel it. So it can as well thrive in Nigeria, and the process is currently ongoing. It's still thriving before now, only that there are quite a number of issues to be addressed, just as the director mentioned earlier. There are some of these issues that we need to address. So, honestly, for us to have prosperity in this country, for us to tackle most of the problems that is confronting us as a nation today, cooperative is the way to go.
Yes, when I said they will have their resolution, the resolution has to do with the money that they will be paying. There is one thing there that made all of them equal, all of the members, because we want to reduce the issue of inequality. Their share capital. Every member must pay that share capital, which must be equal, by all of them in payment. Though the period of payment might be different, I may have it at once, you may have it twice, he may have it thrice, but before he can access anything in the society, before he can be qualified for any right in the society, even before he can be qualified for any opportunity in the society, he must have paid that share capital. Meanwhile, if we say all the payments must be equal, we may be restricting some people. Their share capital are equal, savings are not equal. You contribute savings according to what you have. That is why the principle of equity and equality is important in cooperative. Equity, you will be treated according to what you have in the society, but there is no restriction. Equality for the treatment. Equality, I can take loan when I'm qualified without any bias. I can vote and be voted for without any bias because we all have equal share. I can obtain loan of 200 million if I have that capacity. But if he has capacity, he can obtain 500 million, depending on what he has in the society. So the issue of equity and equality is one of the important things that cooperative tend to promote.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you for that, Mr. Idowu. Please, we'd like to go on a break. Let's go on a break. And when we come back, we'll look at other areas that we need to focus on. What have we not done well to ensure that our cooperative is working? You have been to Kenya. What are they doing in Kenya that we're not doing so that we can strengthen and make our cooperatives powerful? All right, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll look at other areas of cooperatives that we have not looked at. Stay with us, don't go away. All right, welcome back. It's still Saturday special on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Of course, we've been discussing the International Day of Cooperatives. Are cooperatives powerful or powerless? That's what we're talking about. And of course, our guests in the studio who've been doing justice to the conversation are the Director of Cooperative Department of Oyo State Ministry of Industry, Investment, Trade and Cooperative. That's Mr. Idowu Olawoye. He's the Director of Excellence. Trust me, he's been giving us information that we do not know about. Also, we still have in the studio with us Dr. Ibrahim Abdulganiyu, the Provost of Federal Cooperative College, Ibadan. And of course, Dr. Tu has been giving us a lot of hints about what government is doing to put cooperative in good shape in Nigeria and to ensure that it's working beyond our expectation. I put that word. So let me come back to Dr. Abdulganiyu. Before we went on that break, I was saying, so let's look at it, a case study of Kenya. Kenya came to learn from Nigeria. Yes. At the point they didn't know how cooperatives were running, or maybe they started cooperatives there and they couldn't figure it out. So they thought that, look, which country in Africa is doing well?
Yeah.
And being the giant of Africa at that time, he decided to come to Nigeria. Now the giant of Africa had to go to Kenya to see what is running there.
Yeah.
But trust me, every society with its own peculiarity. The challenges in Nigeria may not necessarily be the challenges in Kenya.
Yeah.
So while you went on that visit to look at what is being done in Kenya, what are they doing differently in Kenya that is making the cooperative work? Because for you to have said that they're doing well in Kenya, it means it is really working.
Yeah.
What are they doing there that we're not doing here? What's the peculiarity of our society and their society?
Well, thank you very much. It's not really about peculiarity of the society.
Okay.
Yes, because take cooperative to anywhere. Once you put the right legislations in place, the right supportive acts, cooperative will definitely thrive. So in Kenya, it's not about a difference between Nigeria and Kenya. As I said, Cooperative College Ibadan. In fact, Kenya came to Cooperative College Ibadan. The college was established in 1943. And today, although the college has grown, we have other departments and other courses that we run in the college, banking and finance. I'm driving a point out there. Banking and finance,
you pay when you're done. I'll show you the computer.
Computer science, business administration, marketing, accountancy, and of course, our main course, cooperative economics and management, both at the national and the higher national diploma level. You see, when you go to, what we saw in Kenya was a well-organized system. In fact, we were taken to, I've forgotten the community now, outskirts of Kenya. And you will see...
Outside of Kenya's capital?
Yes, Kenya, thank you. A complete value chain. You know, one of their major cash crop there is coffee.
Okay.
And you see, cooperative society organized as growers, from growers to processors. In fact, we are taken to a factory where coffee is being processed. All this from processors to marketers. All of them under an umbrella of a cooperative society. There is one they call Mwalimu. Mwalimu is a cooperative similar to our own NUT, owned by teachers.
Okay.
If you see, in fact, their own complex is about 25 stories skyscraper.
How many is out here?
I cannot even, I don't even know whether we have one.
At least we have fancy.
That belongs to a similar thing like anything that we're talking about. And you see quite a number of cooperative societies like that, very, very functioning. But what we have discovered is that, for instance, they train and build the capacity of the operators. And that is exactly what my college stands for today.
Are you training cooperators in your college?
Yes, that is part of the agenda, the Renew Hope agenda that we are talking about.
No, have you been doing it over the years?
Yes, we've been doing it.
At what cost?
Well, negotiable, based on the number of participants that we have. So, we need to build their capacity. We need to train them. That is why the college in Kenya had to transform to the university level, because they saw the need to begin to engage, to begin to do research, even into cooperatives, both at the master's degree level and even at PhD level. And that was why they had to transform from college to the university level. So these are some of the things that are actually put in, and the government, there is a, what do you call it? A ministry dedicated for cooperatives.
A quick one before you go on, sir.
Yes.
Let me come to the director, Mr. Olawoyin. Mr. Olawoyin, he's talking about training.
Yeah.
And we say there are requirements for getting licensed as a cooperative society. Is that part of the requirement that before you can get a license, members of your cooperative get training from the training school.
It's not part of the requirement for registering cooperative, because from our end, we do train cooperators yearly. They can come once, twice, up to 3 times a year to different types of cooperatives.
Depending on this.
So our training is always every month that we do for them. In fact, all cooperative organizations are attached with one inspector at least. That inspector must have gone to the college, because we have Federal Cooperative College, we still have State Cooperative College. So that person who is inspector must have learned about cooperative. So all cooperative that you see, they have at least one inspector attached to them, trained by government, he or her.
How many inspectors do we have in Oyo State?
In Oyo State, today we have more than 70 inspectors.
Managing 14,000 cooperatives.
It's local government basis.
But that's low, because there's no how you'll be able to oversee. So, to my mind, you're saying that one person will be managing over 2,000.
That is why it is somehow wrong to rely on government alone, and that is one of our problems. Reliance on government alone. All these trainings that are for cooperators at times at no cost. If individual want to organize such training, they may say individual that will attend will pay 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 per person at times. But for government, so government is trying in our own, but people outside, because in those days when we have very solid and quality cooperative, the assistance is always from within and from outside.
Okay,
from European Union at times.
Let me go back to Provost. Provost, let's quickly look at other best practice that you were talking about in Kenya. I intentionally brought that out of that conversation to look at, that might be one of the challenges we're having. If people are not well trained, they may not be able to carry out even this enforcement you're talking about, implementation, enforcement of the law. Again, if people don't know how to go about it, well trained, retrieval of monies from debtors might also be an issue. So tell us, what are the other best practices?
Yes, thank you very much. The issue of training that I just mentioned, you see, that is why in the current reform, the government is trying to see how we can synergize both federal, state, and even at the grassroots. Let us see how that synergy can come. Presently, in my college, we have a center that we call Cooperative Innovation and Empowerment Center, headed by a director who happens to be the immediate past provost of the college. That center is dedicated for this purpose, and we are looking at how we can actually synergize so that this issue of capacity building will be able to take care of that. Beyond that, see, in Kenya, that you were referring to, I said we have a dedicated ministry. One major thing that we have discovered, that ministry played more of a supervisory role, trying to ensure that legislations, laws are actually adhered to. They have some of these supervisors that were mentioned, they have them coordinated by the ministry. At the national level, down to their various provinces. So they monitor the activities of all these cooperative society very, very in a well-organized manner. Beyond that, they have digitalized quite a number of activities of the cooperative society. Yes. They have ATM. It's part of the current reform.
Because many of our
part of current reform is not only about a commercial bank. It is establishment of commercial bank and digitalization
of the cooperative process.
Yes, that is it. We are looking at how we can also have even a cooperative identity number for cooperators, such that if you are a cooperative member here in Ibadan, that identity can be carried to any part of Nigeria as a cooperator. So these are part of the reform that is ongoing. And you know, there is no way we can plan, there is no way we can go into modernity today if we do not go the way of digitalization.
All right, thank you very much for mentioning that.
Yes.
I was going to ask you later on.
Yeah.
But then there is also something I've been thinking about. In this age of a high rate of unemployment amongst the youth, and this age of rising costs, instability in the economy, amongst several other things, there are questions about how the youth are involved when you're talking about cooperative societies. Because if we are to achieve the aim, especially of this year's team, that's been bridge builders, we have to involve the youth. We have to involve the women. We have to involve the daddies like you and our director. But then, the youth, what's the involvement? What's the engagement level in this? Because they have told us several times that a nation that does not engage its youth profitably will suffer for its economic-wise.
All right, thank you very much. You see, I said we have visited Kenya twice. The second time was the event of the International Cooperative Alliance. And one major take-home from that conference was the issue of youth that you just mentioned. Youth and a data-driven cooperative, digital-driven cooperative society. So as we speak, in fact, the Cooperative Innovation and Empowerment Center that I just mentioned is targeted towards the youth, because we have seen that today youth constitute an important part of economic development, and so we intend to, focus on the youth more than even the existing cooperative society. Registering them, they will be more. They will be able to do more, even when it comes to the issue of digitalization that we are talking about. So the center is targeted towards more of the youth. And today, youth is at the center of this reform, even at the national level that we are talking about.
Thank you. In Oyo State here today, throughout all the local government, there's a project going on that is targeted on youth and women empowerment in cooperative. So we have done that, and we are following in terms of monitoring and supervising the project that is targeted on youth and women empowerment throughout all the local government in Oyo State.
All right, let's now also look at, as we wind down gradually on the program this morning, our time is fast spent. Let's look at the way forward. You've talked about the innovations, the reforms, that we are hoping will come in the shortest possible time. But one would have also thought that during this celebration, there should have been lined up programs by the, a synergy between the state ministry and the college to see how we can, maybe an awareness or a program that will keep talking about the programs. Yes, more about the cooperative program.
Yeah.
So what is on the table? Let me start with the
Yes.
What do we have?
It's quite unfortunate that we in Oyo State we are in a kind of a security issue. If that is not the case, we have scheduled today to celebrate these cooperatives awareness. In fact, we have committee for it. The committee has worked on it, but because of the issue of security that we are encountering in the states, today will have been the day that we will celebrate. But that does not mean that we are not going to celebrate, because those who meet today are Cooperative Day, they gave us opportunity to celebrate even after today. So we are still coming to celebrate in Oyo State with passion.
I trust that we still have some of this education and information.
Definitely, that is the main purpose of that day celebration.
Okay.
And we are seeking your collaboration.
Don't worry, you know where to go. I'll show you the commercial. All right, let me come to Provost. Provost, tell us, is there any program planned?
Yes.
And if yes, tell us. And after which you tell us, what advice do you have for people that are organizing or that are involved in cooperative society in Nigeria and in Oyo State in particular?
Yes, let me start with the program. We already have one in place. I told you that the main mandate of the college is training in cooperative economics and management. It will interest you to know that our students, even at the level of students, organizes this annual event to mark the cooperative day. They've, approached me in the office and they've even informed me about their arrangements for this year's cooperative day. The head of the department is here, and they have approached us. And in fact, it was yesterday we were talking about expanding the scope this year to also involve other stakeholders from outside the college. So, and that is part of the synergy we're talking about. Although we have chosen a date, I think June 18, to actually mark the date. So on that day, we have to invite other cooperative societies so that we also be able to mark the day.
Okay, so tell us, what advice do you have for people involved in cooperative societies?
Honestly, as I have said, and I will continue to say repeatedly, if we must drive this economy, we have to go cooperative. So the only thing we need to do is to do it the way it should be done. Let there be laid down regulations that we will strictly adhere to. Very simple. Once we are able to do that, I am telling you the economic prosperity of this country is right in our hands.
So promotion of cooperative is the duty of everyone, including you, the media, because in those days, alájẹṣẹ́kù ló gba yìí, jẹ́ ká jọ ṣe. And we used to hard.
You're advertising.
No, we used to hard. That is your song then that you play for us that made us to understand what cooperative is. You allocated some time for cooperative then, but nowadays no media house or houses are set a period or time, even 5 minutes, not per day or per week.
Maybe you're not
for education of people out there, because we said promotion of this cooperative is a duty for everyone. So,
all right, on this note, we want to say a big thank you to you. On behalf of our producers and crew member, I want to say a big thank you to the Director, Cooperative Department of your State Ministry of Industry, Investment, Trade, and Cooperative. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And of course, to our own Dr. Ibrahim Abdul-Ganiyu, the Provost, Federal Cooperative College, Ibadan. Thank you very much for making our time to be here.
Thank you very much.
The time you have spent and, of course, the wealth of knowledge that you've shared with us this morning. We would like to also recognize those on your entourage, on the entourage of the Director, the Deputy Director, Mr. Anoluwapo Adewale. Thank you very much for joining us. The Assistant Director, Mr. Bioku Adewale. We appreciate you for coming. Those are the two names I have here. Victor.
Well, with me here, I've got in the names of the Provost's entourage, and you pardon me for the pronunciation of this Dr. Shegun Ogunreku. Thank you very much for having me out for that. That's the Head of Department Cooperative and Economics Department.
Yes.
We also appreciate the presence of the Head of Media, which I've seen him doing the speech about Mr. Binga Ogunderu.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. We also have the PAs to the Provost, Mr. Eberube Jamiu, Ibrahim Majid, and Mr. Salau Fatai, who are also here. We appreciate you. We thank you very much for coming with the Provost. double standards to make him look that's right here on set with us.
All right, on this note, we'll go on a break. And when we come back, of course, we'll be serving you with global updates. Stay with us. Don't go away.